welcome back. It's me, Susanna K, professional organizer, and I realized even though I've talked about Rocketbook a lot, I've never actually shown you an unboxing of a Rocketbook, so you know exactly what to expect when you get one. And I just happened to have gotten a new Rocketbook. So let's do this. So when you first order a Rocketbook, it comes in one of these fancy schmancy little packets. Now, along the side is a pen. Now you only want to use the friction pens because they erase with, like you would guess, friction. So these are the types of pens that you would use with your Rocketbook. And they give you a really good solid black one to start with. Now black will show up the best when you're using them on your Rocketbook, so it's handy to have a few black ones on hand. But I do also like to use colors. I use blue and pink and purple a lot, but I think I have a ton of colors. I probably have like 20 colors that I use. So when you open the top part of the packet, inside you will find your Rocketbook. And I think that's probably gonna be all. Oh no, I forgot. You also get the cleaning cloth. So with the cleaning cloth, it's a nice like a microfiber on one side and it seems like a velvety on the other. Super soft cloth. And you can check out my other Rocketbook videos. I talk about cleaning your Rocketbook and my hack of how to keep a sponge on hand. But this cloth is really nice once you've cleaned off that first layer. I guess it's not a layer, but done your first wipe of the ink. Then I usually use this to get off any of the excess. So I have several of these. They're super handy. They got the nice little logo. And then there's the Rocketbook itself. This one, I just ordered the Matrix because I don't have that one yet. And I do find it super handy to have some that are basically either blank pages or a grid. And this one's a grid. And tucked inside, they have a little instruction book. This one's about the Matrix. Each one will be a little bit different, but they'll have a lot of the same type of information on each. And it talks about how to write on it, example uses, how to scan using the app, which we'll talk about really quickly, and some tips like using handwriting recognition, the OCR. Super handy how to bundle your scans together and how to reuse it. So this is kind of a quick start guide that will come with your Rocketbook, which is handy. Now I mentioned I got the Matrix. This is my first time seeing the Matrix. I got it in the green and the outside is nice and strong. So I throw these in my backpacks. I throw them everywhere. Like when I travel, I always have a Rocketbook on me because it's unlimited paper basically, because you can write on it and erase it as many times as you need to and you can scan it. But on the first page, it looks like it's got book details, which I'm not positive about what you use that one for, so I'll have to look that one up. Interesting. And then it has just the lined and the grid pages, which is nice, and it even has a measurement area for reference if you wanted to write how much space one square is equivalent to. Let's see, it has all the way to page 32, it has those grid pages. It's just got a little fuzz on it from being brand new. Oh, and it's got a nice handy dandy ruler. Looks like there's a centimeter ruler on that one, on the back cover, and on the front cover, inches. So that's the Matrix. I wanted one that was nice and simple without any type of template. I just wanted the squares for when I'm brainstorming or designing anything for maybe my Glowforge or anything like that. You will see that the front cover, you can write on this as well. And depending on the icon that you check at the bottom of your page. It's very hard to see, but you can kind of see the icons there. Once you write on your page, you'll take that same friction pen and just mark. I usually just do an X. Mark on whichever icon you want. The icons are telling the app where to send the scan when it scans that page. So this front page, this is where you can write down where you have each of these icons set to. So we'll talk about that right now. With the Rocketbook, I use the app some of the time, but not all of the time, because a lot of what I write, I never really need to scan it because I don't need to refer back to it. So I use my Rocketbook a ton for things like taking notes during Zoom meetings or calls, or if I go to an event or a convention, taking notes that I might not necessarily want to refer back to. I brainstorm with it. I plan things out. I use it for planning my days a lot of the times. I use it for sketching up designs when I'm going to be doing anything with my laser cutter, like my Glowforge designs. I use it for all sorts of stuff. But I'd say probably actually 80% to 90% of the things that I use my Rocketbook for, I don't need to refer back to those notes more than a week afterwards. So for the most part, I don't scan a ton with my Rocketbook, but there are some things that I do want to scan. Certain meetings, I want to keep track of the notes that I took, or if I went to a convention and there's important information that I want to keep track of, or even if I did a SketchUp and I wanted to share it with one of the people in my company, then it's super easy to scan it with the app and send it right to the destination that it needs to go to. Now, you don't need the app to scan it. It just makes it easier. But once you download the app, you will download the Rocketbook app from the App Store. And when you open the Rocketbook app, first you'll need to sign up. So you will use whatever email address you want, or you can sign up with your Google email address. I will just actually log in because I already have my account set up. Actually, you know what? No, I won't. I will create a new one. And once you create your username and password with your email address, then you get this Welcome to Rocketbook page. So this will just basically, if you wanted them to let you know about new features or anything, I usually skip this, but you can choose to have them notify you. Completely up to you. First page that it starts with is the history page. We don't need the history page yet though, because we've not scanned anything. So we're gonna go over and we are going to tap on the little paper airplane called Destinations. And this is where we can set up our destinations. It will automatically start off usually with each destination just going to whatever email address you used to create your user ID. This is where you can change them though. So for example, the Rocketbook logo, instead of having that page automatically scanned to that email address, if it's sent to an email, then if it's set to scan to an email, then it will send that scan by email to that email address. Super handy if you just want to send notes to yourself or to somebody on your team. So I usually keep at least one of them as an email address. But then you also can do something like Google Drive or Dropbox or Evernote or so many other destinations. So once you tap on the destination, on that icon, you can choose your destination. So it has Google Drive, Evernote, Dropbox, OneNote, OneDrive, Trello, Slack, Box, iCloud, email, or as a text message. So you can set up where you want your destinations to go. For example, if you chose Google Drive, you would actually link that Google Drive account, and you can choose the specific folder that you want that scan to go to. So for meeting notes, I have a folder in my Google Drive that just is called Meeting Notes, and the destination in my Rocketbook is that Google Drive into the folder called Meeting Notes. So all I have to do is scan a picture of the page, which I'll show you in a second, and it will automatically send it to that folder. And then I can erase the page because I have the scan, which is nice. And then it also has some other options. You can choose what file type you want to scan as. I like to scan as a PDF, simply because then I can scan more than one page into one file. So it can group those individual pages instead of having one page per, and it seems to be a smaller file type and just easier to work with. But you can also choose, I think you could probably choose JPEG and things like that. But in order to change it off of PDF, you have to turn off bundling the scans. The other options are JPEG and GIF. I like to turn on bundle scans. That way you can scan more than one page when you scan, and it can group them together. So sometimes my notes are over 2 or 3 pages. I want them all to be in one file instead of all separate files. You can set it to automatically send. I usually keep this off because I just want to make sure that I've given it the file name that I want. But you can turn it on so that as soon as you scan, it just sends it without you having to approve it a second time. I usually turn on, it's called OCR transcription. That's what can turn your handwriting into text so the computer can read it. And this is really useful, especially if you want to be able to write the file name at the top of your scans or search for something within the document. And I usually just embed it within the body of my email if I'm going to email it to myself. And then you can do smart tags where it just helps you tag things within the file names, and the smart tag subject line, which will help you automatically set the subject line of the email just by how you write things down. And depending on the destination that you have set, a couple of these options will change. So this is for email. They're very similar though, so I won't go through all of them with you now. So once you've set that up and you've chosen what destination you want, then in order to scan, you're going to tap the new scan button, and you will just take your page with the icon. You want the icon to have been marked off. We'll assume that you wrote on the page, and you're going to hold your mobile device, your phone probably, over until it recognizes it. And you can tell once it recognizes it, it will do this, like, look like it's dropping the picture into the bottom. And you can see that it has a little number, a number 1, because you've scanned one page so far. So you can hit next once you're done scanning. You can do multiple pages. Once you're done, you can hit next. Now, if you've not already set a file name by writing it at the top of the page, then it will guess the file name or create a file name for you. You can tap on that to change the file name and type a new one in there, and then you can save it, or you can just hit send. But once you're done editing whatever you want, then just click send. It's going to send it to the destination that you have set. So it's super, super easy. Then once it's done that, it's actually going to be over in the history section of your app. So once you go to the history, now you'll see your scan is right there. So Rocketbooks are nice and easy. I'm not going to go into all the tips and tricks of using it because I've got other videos for that, but you can easily set email subject lines by using the tags at the top of the page, just handwriting them in. You can set the file name, which I usually do at the top of the page. I'll use the hashtag signs and write the file name in it, so it'll automatically name the file for me. It can also recognize if there's a list, if you've created a list on your page, and it can turn it into a smart list for you and make them the boxes in your PDF clickable, so you can mark them as done. It can recognize handwriting as long as your handwriting is legible. But it does a pretty good job of recognizing handwriting. It can do so much fun stuff. But one of the things that I love the most is the fact that I don't go through so much paper in my life because I'm able to brainstorm and write my notes and then just erase it once I'm done processing that information mentally. And I won't have wasted a lot of paper because I am at heart still a paper person. So if you want to check out Rocketbook, they have several different types. I will be shooting another video very soon about the brand new Everyday Planner and talking about how I am tweaking it and hacking it a bit to make it exactly what I want, but it's pretty awesome to start with. They have so many different options with different templates and things like that. So I will say Rocketbook recently sent me this Rocketbook and one more for free to check out because I have been a supporter of Rocketbook for so long and done videos without them even asking because I absolutely love it. So I am shooting this video with 2 Rocketbooks that were provided by them, which I am really appreciative of. If you want to grab your own Rocketbook, you can check out the links in the description that they provided and see all the different styles and types that they have right there for you. And to check out my other videos. I hope that you enjoyed this. Keep on rocking with your Rocketbook, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, love.